So we start with it's not really a subsidy. It's actually changed later to a subsidy.
Right.
So what government decided to do is that they decided it's better to intervene because of volatility of prices. Kenyans were complaining that there is a point in time sometimes that the palm prices fluctuates, and so the consequences are very high when it fluctuates very high. And so government decided to come with a program called stabilization program. So the stabilization program was through government setting up it's called Petroleum Stabilization Fund, Levy Fund. So how that fund should have worked is that if the palm price today is 100, and then the global markets shift, and there is a drastic increase of probably, let's say, 20 shillings. So the stabilization fund will have been used to bring that cost, not to 120, but to around 110. So there is a gradual increase of prices. So there is no shock to many Kenyans. So that was the plan.
Sounds like a very good idea.
Yes.
On
but
paper.
Now the plan was blown out of the water with what happened with the global prices because of the Ukraine version, Russia invading Ukraine. So the prices shot very high that when government decided to intervene in the stabilization, it couldn't handle. So Kenyans at the same time are asking for a lower price, and so government had to change the program into a subsidy. So a subsidy, basically, you're trying to bring the prices completely down to where Kenyans can afford. And so that is a very expensive exercise that government undertook, and there is no money. So in the first exercise, we finished all the money in the levy. So we need more money from the taxpayers' money. Government today has so much obligations on its plate that it cannot afford a subsidy. Yeah. So that is the problem that we have. But apart from that, let me come to the main issues that is connected. The problem is that it's not the Ukraine problem that we have also. We have an exchange rate problem. So the Russia that came the other day.
Yes.
We've had an exchange problem that the currency of the Kenya shilling at some point was 100 2 years ago. Today we're at 115. So what is the problem there? Mm-hmm. So we have an exchange currency problem that I think maybe I'll discuss it later.
Yeah.
But that is one problem. Even if you remove the Ukraine issue, we will still face the same problem without money for the subsidy.
Okay. Joram, how are business organizing themselves right now with all this volatility? Talk about what Tony's talking about. You're talking about the fuel prices, the volatility of oil prices, government policy and all that. Yeah. What you've seen, how business operating?
I think what I've observed is it's almost as if business people were practicing for now. Because when COVID first hit, a lot of people were forced to take very drastic actions, letting go of rental space, letting go of staff, restructuring how they operate.
Right.
Going, work from home instead of working from an expensive location. So it took about 6 months for people to adjust. And they adjusted, I think, very well, because if you looked at the stats at the time, it's in the first 6 months that you had, the job losses and everything, but there was gradual recovery after that. And so, as we were saying earlier, Kenyans tend to be very adaptive and very resilient. So I find that the business people were quick to adapt and shift their costs to what they could afford. And even when you look at the statistics, the SMEs were beginning to recover, where you see their income growing, they're recovering. Certain sectors that were completely dead are beginning to revive, like hospitality, tourism, travel, and the like. And so in the midst of that recovery, then all these other issues have now happened, which what's now happening is that people have less money to spend because, spending on the essentials, cooking oil, gas, you're literally finishing all your money there. So there's very little to spend on leisure, entertainment, other things that would, spur the economy to grow. So I feel like we've entered a period of stagnation because of post-COVID issues, pre-election issues, and then international geopolitical issues. So, people are trying their best, but it's very difficult. So I do not know that we can predict as fast a recovery as we had thought before, because no one had predicted there was going to be a world war, no one had predicted oil prices were going to go crazy, our currency where it is today. So I think that's going to temper the recovery quite significantly. Yeah.